Welcome back to The Historian. Tonight, we look at the Inkmaster's secret, unveiling the hidden libraries of the ancient tattooed warriors. Tattoos have adorned human skin for thousands of years, a timeless art that speaks of identity, community, and belief. To discover where this art form began, we must travel back to ancient times, dusting off the silent stories etched into human remains. Over 5,000 years ago, Ötzi, the Iceman, was preserved in the snowy Alps, an ancient storyteller frozen in time. Discovered in 1991, his body offered surprising hints of tattoo history. On his skin were simple lines and crosses, a total of 61 tattoos made with soot or ash, likely for therapeutic reasons against pain or arthritis. Ötzi reveals that our ancestors used tattoos for both artistic and practical purposes. Moving forward through time, the mummies of ancient Egypt provide another piece of the puzzle. The civilization's love for art and symbolism extended to their bodies. Female mummies, dating back to 2000 BCE, displayed intricate dot and diamond patterns. Often placed around the abdomen and thighs, these tattoos might have served as a form of protection or were related to fertility practices. Egyptian art and mythologies often reveal the god Bes, protector of women, who could have inspired such skin markings. Similarly, ancient Nubians, neighbors to the Egyptians, left behind tattoos that also tell a story. Excavations revealed mummies with figures such as the god of fertility. These markings enhance our understanding of the interwoven cultures and their shared beliefs. As we journey east, the ancient Chinese culture introduces us to the Yue people. Historical texts from as early as 1200 BCE describe these people as painted or tattooed, signifying status, bravery, or community belonging. Tattooing might have distinguished warriors on the battlefield or marked tribal alliances. Japan, a society rich in art and tradition, embraced tattooing with its own flair. By 300 BCE, Japanese men wore tattoos of dragons, koi fish, and other mythical creatures, not just for decoration but as spiritual talismans. In Japan, the art of Irezumi grew, reaching its peak during the Edo period, where more elaborate designs came to life beneath the skin. Across the vast ocean, indigenous Polynesian cultures such as the Maori or the Samoans have a deep-rooted history of tattooing. The Maori of New Zealand practiced tā moko, a ritual that carved intricate lines on the face and body to signify rank, genealogy, and social status. Each line told a detailed personal story, and the process of acquiring them was a sacred ritual. Samoans have a similar traditional art called pē for men and malu for women. These tattoos mark a significant rite of passage, each detail a story of bravery, strength, and connection to the lineage. The ancient tradition of tattooing in different cultures not only symbolized beauty and artistry, but served as pathways to spiritual worlds, health, or social identities. As we move forward in this documentary, we will explore how these early practices evolved into complex systems of communication and identity across different warrior societies. And so, we've glimpsed the beginnings of this ancient tradition, inked where cultures and bodies intertwine, writing history in flesh. From the snow-covered Alps to the sun-baked sands of Egypt and the verdant isles of Polynesia, tattoos have always been more than just skin deep. These early inks lay the foundation upon which societies built vibrant, dynamic narratives about self and society, signaling transitions and transformations through time. As we continue our journey, let us explore how these stories developed further into the hidden libraries of ancient tattooed warriors. Each mark an entryway into another tale waiting to be uncovered. Tattoos, with their rich legacy, draw us into the world of tools and techniques used by ancient artisans. The origins of these tools can be traced to when sharp stones, thorns, or fish bones served as rudimentary tattooing devices. In a time long before metal needles, ancient cultures had to work with what was available in their own surroundings. As we journey deeper into this art form, the myriad ways these tools were crafted and applied offer a fascinating glimpse into human ingenuity and creativity. In the chilly northern reaches, the Inuit and some Siberian cultures used bone needles woven into sealskin thread. These tools perforated the skin with precision, and the ink, often derived from soot or ash mixed with animal fat, was expertly inserted into these fresh perforations. For these people, tattoos served as charms against the harsh elements, protective symbols representing the animals they hunted, depended on, and revered. Transitioning to the arid lands of ancient Egypt, tools were more sophisticated. Archaeologists have uncovered bronze needles that Egyptians used with great skill. These needles could create intricate patterns, almost as if painting on a stone canvas. Women often adorned themselves with tattoos tied to fertility and protection, leading archaeologists to believe that these tools were part of daily ritual kits reserved for special occasions or stages in life. In stark contrast to these, the Polynesian islands, with their lush landscapes, provided a different set of materials to the Inkmasters. Long sticks made from local wood or whalebone were ingeniously carved. Ink made from the natural soot of burned wood or kukui, nut oil served not just as coloring, but was considered sacred, enhancing the tattoo's spiritual power. The tapping method used in Polynesia, where a tattooist tapped the inked bone into the skin with another stick, created deep, lasting designs. The rhythm of the tapping became a ceremonial heartbeat, bonding the community in participation and support. The use of charcoal-based inks was common across many ancient cultures. It was an easily accessible substance, dark and lasting, though its permanence often depended on how deeply it was integrated into the skin. Some cultures, like the Maori of New Zealand, added their unique twist by using natural pigments mixed with kauri gum, which not only darkened the ink, but perhaps preserved the tattoo's vibrancy longer under the tropical sun. Further to the west, the Celtic tribes used iron needles. Their tools allowed for the creation of swirling patterns, much like those seen on their iconic carved stones and jewelry. These designs marked identity and kinship, tightly binding the individual to their land and legend through tattoo art. Such techniques displayed not only artistic skill, but also represented the technological advances in metalwork during this period. In South America, we discover yet another layer of this ancient practice. The indigenous cultures, surrounded by vibrant ecosystems, used cactus spines as applicators and natural plant dyes to color the skin. These dyes, derived from fruits, roots, or berries, were not only practical but offered a palette of colors unseen in other ancient tattoo methods. This diversity and refinement was not merely cosmetic but symbolic, as these tattoos often communicated stories of heroism, prowess in hunting, or connections with spiritual guides. Each tool, each method, speaks of the resourcefulness of the people who lived by their hands, drawing from their surroundings, guided by tradition and the rhythms of nature. These ancient Inkmasters' products tell us how necessity, in partnership with creativity, birthed tools adapted to every environment. In these layered histories of ancient tattoo tools, we see the first steps in the evolution of tattooing, a world where art and technology merged under the guidance of cultural values. These early instruments paved the way for more modern practices, yet they retain a fiery, archaic purity, reminding us of their origins. Our story will continue as we explore how this creative energy flowed through generations, leaving marks of identity and history now uncovered in the hidden libraries of tattooed warriors. The emergence of tattoos in early human societies was more than mere decorative art. It served as a vital cultural compass, guiding identities and societal roles. As we wander through history's corridors, let's uncover how ancient peoples interpreted these markings. Beginning with the Japanese in 300 BCE, their tattoos were much more than skin embellishments. Intricate designs of mythical creatures were believed to harbor spiritual powers, offering protection or channeling blessings. For Japanese farmers and fishermen, a dragon etched beneath the skin was a guardian, while koi fish represented perseverance and courage. In contrast, on the islands of Polynesia, tattoos were deep-rooted in identity and heritage. The Maori of New Zealand, for instance, interpreted tā moko as a symbol of personal history and social standing. Each line told of ancestral connections, achievements, and unique personality traits. The process was a rite of passage, a sacred ceremony that recognized life's transitions, marking an individual's evolution through personal trials and spiritual growth. Across the ocean, Samoan tattoos, or tatau, served equally profound purposes. These tattoos, intricate webs of patterns wrapping around the body, were laden with meaning. Men bore them as testimony to their bravery and strength, while women displayed them to signify cultural knowledge and maturity. Each design was a silent narrative of one's life journey and community bonds. As we tread further north, the early Celts introduced a distinctive perspective on the cultural import of tattoos. For them, ink symbolized kinship and belonging. The swirling patterns drawn from their ancient artwork were not mere adornments, but declarations of tribal affiliation and mythological belief. Tattoos were badges of honor, linking each individual to the tales and legends that framed their world. These marks remained as constant as the loyalty they represented, reaffirming connections both geographical and familial. Back in the eastern reaches, the Yue people of China displayed tattoos with great pride. Described as painted by ancient texts, they leveraged body art to delineate warrior caste and community alliances. Tattoos were badges of valor and commitment, often showcased in battle or discussed in gatherings. They weren't just physical demonstrations of strength. They acted as a historical record passed down visually through generations. Moreover, among the Siberian and Inuit communities, tattoos carried profound cultural significance intertwined with survival and societal roles. Each mark was a representation of harnessing nature's spirit and resilience. If you are finding peace in these archives, remember to subscribe to join us on the next journey. The tattoos were believed to bind the spirit of animals to humans, providing protection and guidance in the harsh, unforgiving landscapes. Moving into warmer climes, the Egyptian and Nubian traditions of tattooing emphasized spiritual and protective qualities. However, they also had intimate connections to societal roles and personal belief systems. Egyptian women particularly viewed tattoos as powerful amulets against evil and symbols of fertility. Positioned symbolically, they were often images of gods, intended to invoke divine favor and measure time cycles. Similarly, Nubian tattoos reflected interconnectedness with deities of fertility, potentially tying cultural ceremonies to their tattoo art. What stands apparent through these diverse practices is the unifying thread, across disparate lands and civilizations, of using tattoos as expressions of enduring human values: community, spirituality, protection, and identity. The cultures of our ancestors allowed skin to be a canvas bearing not only beauty and art, but also deep affiliations, beliefs, and heraldic symbols. From Japan's storied creatures to Polynesia's sacred rites, from Celtic myths to Siberian spirits, these cultural tattoos narrate an unbroken history of human connection to the land, the community, and beyond. As we prepare to forge ahead in our exploration, these tales of cultural significance set the stage for understanding the distinct evolution of tattoos as complex systems of communication, forming intricate narratives among the ancient warriors. Through ink and design, we will delve deeper into how societies crafted complex societal structures and relationships, a prelude to the sophisticated tapestry we are yet to unveil. The quiet hum of excavation guides us into the dimly lit confines of ancient tombs and burial sites. Archaeology, this meticulous dance of dust and time, slowly reveals the hidden past of tattooed warriors. Here, buried beneath layers of earth and history, lie the secrets of ink that narrated lives long forgotten. Picture the bustling activity on a dig site. Under the hot sun or within a chilly cave, archaeologists sift through soil with small brushes and careful hands, piecing together fragments of history. Each find, A shard of pottery, a bone, or a preserved piece of skin is an echo from the past. Such discoveries are crucial in understanding how and why ancient peoples adorned themselves with tattoos. In Egypt, tombs have given up mummified bodies whose skin still bears the mark of tattoo ink. These figures, frozen in time, display complex patterns of dots and lines, suggesting that tattooing for protection, fertility rites, and spiritual significance were common cultural practices. The designs often mirror those found in Egyptian art, tying them to the motifs that pervaded their daily life and beliefs. Shifting to Nubian territories, similar discoveries illuminate the interconnectedness of early Egyptian and Nubian cultures. Archaeologists have unearthed Nubian mummies, whose tattoos depict deities related to fertility and protection. This shared cultural practice suggests vibrant exchanges of ideas and beliefs between neighboring civilizations, as evidenced by these indelible marks inscribed on their skin. Across the continents, in a dense tropical jungle, excavation teams are peeling back another chapter of history in the Americas. Here, ancient skeletal remains have revealed tattoo symbols that differ from the line-based designs of Egypt. These symbols speak of nature, crafted from the dyes of plants and berries, illustrating the deep connection indigenous cultures held with their environment. Their tattoos were coded messages of social status, bravery, and spiritual beliefs. In the lush Polynesian Isles, careful digs have revealed the remains of tattoo tools buried alongside their owners. Made from animal bones and designed to create lasting impressions, these tools tell tales of craftsmanship and cultural ritual. Pits discovered around ancient villages suggest that the process was community-centric, bonding people through shared stories etched into their skin. Along the windy cliffs of the Celtic lands, archaeological digs preserve artistry similar to famous carved stones found nearby. Iron tools discovered in burial sites hint at the intricate art of Celtic tattooing, with spirals and lines that mirror ancient stone carvings, suggesting a tradition that bridged stone, skin, and spirit. These centuries-old patterns were not just decorative, but also emblematic of societal ties and myths. Each dig site, a narrative waiting to unfold, reveals how diverse cultures employed tattooing to express identity, belief, and community bonds. Through the careful work of archaeologists, we piece together how ancient peoples viewed the world around them, turning to ink and body art as a medium to articulate their stories and beliefs. Exploring these findings, we uncover the varied meanings tattoos had across different societies. Our journey through these archaeological sites enlightens and expands our understanding of humanity's intricate relationship with tattooing. As ancient ink reveals its secrets layer by layer, we see human stories unfold, stories of identity marked by the pain and pride of tattoos. As the dust settles on one chapter of our exploration, we brace ourselves to unravel further layers of this captivating history. This glimpse at the archaeological beginnings sets the course for understanding the societal roles that these tattoos played, roads that lead deeper into the hidden libraries of the tattooed warriors. Each mark a testament to endurance, identity, and the unending human spirit. Imagine the early morning sun casting a gentle light on an ancient village. Warriors rise with purpose, their bodies etched with stories told through ink. In societies where warriors were revered protectors and leaders, tattoos were more than simple adornments. They were integral to daily life. As they donned their armor or prepared their weapons, their tattoos spoke silently of their deeds and roles within the community. In ancient Japan, tattooing was an art that intertwined with the identity of the samurai. Warriors often bore tattoos of mythical creatures, dragons and tigers, that symbolized strength and ferocity. These images were believed to instill courage as warriors faced the perils of battle. In the marketplace, a glance at tattooed arms bearing these fierce symbols commanded respect, a silent reminder of past victories and the warrior's formidable presence. Across the Pacific, in the Polynesian cultures, the scene was much the same. Warriors adorned in traditional tattoo, particularly in Samoa and Tonga, were viewed as individuals of high status. Their tattoos were often expansive, telling tales of lineage, bravery, and their place within the social structure. Preparing for a community gathering or a festival, these warriors would display their tattoo proudly. Each mark a chapter in their life story read by the initiated and the youth, who longed for the day they too could bear such designs. In Celtic tribes located in what is now modern-day Ireland and Scotland, tattoos played an equally important role. Steeped in myth and folklore, these warriors marked their bodies with intricate spirals and knots. A cross intertwined with Celtic patterns could symbolize the eternal cycles of life and death, a comforting thought as a warrior headed into battle. Tattoos told not only of their ferocity in war, but their connection to the stories of their ancestors, grounding them in their land and culture. The role of tattoos in daily life extended far beyond the battlefield. For many warriors, these tattoos marked out their place in society, delineating rank and showcasing their achievements. For instance, in the Yue communities of ancient China, tattoos were a badge of honor. Warriors displayed them during ceremonial rites or when strategizing in councils, the ink beneath their skin as permanent as their dedication to their clan. In more secluded regions, such as among the Inuit, tattoos signified protection and spiritual strength. Warriors bore symbols of the animals they hunted, not only to honor these creatures, but also to invoke their traits. A bear or an orca inked beneath the skin was thought to lend its power to them. These tattoos functioned as talismans, crucial for daily survival in the harsh environs they called home. Back in the Mediterranean, among the ancient Greeks, mercenaries often chose tattoos to represent oaths or pledges of loyalty. During moments of leisure, sitting in courtyards or recounting tales from past skirmishes, these tattoos were reminders of camaraderie and allegiances formed through shared trials. In all these cultures, tattoos were woven into the fabric of daily life. They were less about individual expression and more about a shared cultural consciousness, marking significant life events, creating bonds among kin, and defining roles within their community. From dawn when warriors awoke to carry out their duties, to dusk when families gathered to recount tales of valor and heritage, tattoos were ever present, playing a continuous role in the stories and lives of those who bore them. As night falls on these ancient communities, the stories their tattoos told provided comfort and continuity, bridging past and present, and culturing a sense of belonging. This chapter on the role of tattoos in daily life sets the path to further explore the societal impact of tattoos among warriors and how these traditions evolved. We turn the page to uncover complex systems of governance that these inked men influenced through the marks on their skin. Across many ancient cultures, the creation of tattoos was an intricate art, requiring skillful artisans known for their mastery in crafting designs and applying them to the skin. These inkmasters were central to their communities, leveraging techniques that had been honed over generations to bring stories, beliefs, and identities to life on the bodies of warriors. In the ancient lands of Japan, Irezumi, traditional Japanese tattooing, represented both art and spirituality. Skilled artisans, often referred to as horishi, used sharp metal needles tied to wooden sticks. They employed a method known as tebori, where ink was hand-poked into the skin using controlled, rhythmic motions. This technique allowed for significant detail and varied shading, anchoring deeply personal designs such as dragons or koi fish, each rich with symbolism and intention. Close by, in the islands of Polynesia, tattooing was an art infused with spiritual significance. Inkmaster artisans, known as tufuga or tohunga tamoko, utilized tools like combs made from bamboo or bone, and inks derived from the natural environment. The process, accompanied by chants and traditional songs, was a sacred rite. As the tattooist tapped the tool into the skin with remarkable precision, each mark formed a powerful connection to ancestry and divine guidance. Examining the ancient Greeks, surprisingly modern techniques emerged. Greek tattoo artists used tools not unlike early surgical instruments, showcasing advanced metalworking skills. They heated bronze needles before use to ensure they were sharp and aseptic. Tattoo craftsmanship in these Mediterranean regions involved creating designs that could withstand both the harsh sun and the battle scars many warriors would acquire in their lifetimes. In cooler climates, such as Scandinavian lands, Viking warriors were noted for incorporating tattoos into their cultural identity. The artisans in these villages used bone or metal needles, sometimes shaping the ends with intricate patterns. Viking tattoos often depicted scenes from Norse mythology. Each line and curve was executed with intent, combining both artistry and storytelling. Across the world in Mesoamerica, Aztec and Mayan cultures developed sophisticated methods of body art. Aztec Inkmaster artisans used obsidian shards as needles, capitalizing on the natural sharpness of the stone to inscribe their intricate patterns. The Mayans, well known for their higher level of artistry, used inks made from beeswax mixed with plant extracts, creating vivid and lasting colors that conveyed spiritual affiliations and societal roles. In each of these cultures, the tools of the trade were as critical as the skills of the artisans themselves. The choice of materials and the care taken in crafting these instruments reflected the cultural values and technological capabilities of their societies. More than just tools, they were conduits of cultural heritage, perpetuating the legacy of storytelling through ink. As these master ink artisans wove their art onto flesh, they did more than decorate, they documented. Tattoos became historical records, imbued with meaning that transcended time. As we leave behind the era of the master ink artisans, we move forward to explore how these practices evolved further into the cultural tapestry of warrior societies. The echoes of their craftsmanship continue to resonate throughout history, hinting at the enduring legacy of ink in defining human expression. Picture a dimly lit room in an ancient village, the rhythmic tapping of tools filling the air as skilled hands work over warriors' skin. Tattoos were not just ink, they were badges of power and status, worn proudly by the elites of various ancient societies. In the bustling heart of these communities, tattoos spoke of power, respect, and prestige just as much as they did of identity. In the ancient civilizations of the Pacific Islands, tattoos were visual narratives that told stories of lineage, achievements, and social standing. In Samoa, warriors who bore the tattoo carried it as an emblem of their hard-earned societal rank. It was not merely decoration, but a visual testament to their courage, discipline, and connection to their history. The intricate patterns wrapped around their body symbolized their innate strength and their responsibilities to the clan. Similarly, the Maori people of New Zealand donned the highly sacred tā moko. Each curve and spiral was unique, narrating personal genealogies and rites of passage. To wear a moko was to hold instant respect and recognition in society. Chiefs and leaders were often the most elaborately tattooed, with their facial moko providing an almost instant summary of their esteemed ancestry and the feats they achieved. These tattoos were understood as living embodiments of mana, or spiritual authority, guiding decisions and leadership. In ancient Japan, tattoos took on another realm of status and spiritual safeguard. The ayuruzumi, worn by samurai and warlords, were often elaborate images of dragons and deities. While embodying their virtues, prowess, and moral obligations, these designs invoked protection in battle and symbolized unwavering leadership. Having such tattoos set them apart, marking their high status among the societal hierarchy and showcasing their deep knowledge of cultural myths and spiritual matters. Across the globe, the Celts interpreted tattoos as symbols of kinship and divine blessing. Men of social importance sported tattoos that reflected their standing within the tribe and the gods' favor. In the clan gatherings or during festivals, these inked patterns signaled their myths and legends, turning their bodies into stories admired and respected by those around them. Their tattoos conveyed commitments to kin, championing the values essential to their community. In China, the Yue tribes held their tattooed warriors in high esteem. Tattoos served as visual announcements of their military affiliations and skills on the battlefield. They were marks of victories and allegiances that called for admiration and reaffirmed their societal positions. Such tattoos not only recorded personal feats, but stitched together their role as part of a larger cultural tapestry, a fabric made of shared history and conquered fears. As we move to South America, among the Mayan and Aztecs, tattoos depicted religious devotion and societal achievements. High-ranking officials decorated their skin with symbols that identified them with specific deities, bestowing divine favor and enhancing their status. This imprint of allegiance to gods further elevated their political stature and influence within their communities. In every society where tattoos flourished, the ink transcended art. It was a mark of the societal hierarchy that distinguished ordinary individuals from the prestigious. Tattoos denoted bonds stronger than blood, decisions guided by divine echoes, translating personal prowess into communal respect. The intricate designs provided narratives as rich and layered as those that would be written on scrolls or carved into stone. As evening falls in our ancient imaginations, the sacred ink shimmers under torchlight, highlighting the bearer's distinguished ranks and roles. As we continue our exploration, we will soon uncover broader social implications of these inked legacies, illuminating how they shape not only individual identities but also entire communities. These marks are more than skin deep, embedding warriors within their cultural landscapes, carrying forward stories of power, protection, and prestige. The world of the ancient Inkmaster, a realm where skill met spirituality and legacy, was profound and mysterious. In the heart of these historical landscapes, the Inkmaster stood not only as an artisan but also a custodian of cultural stories and identities engraved on the bodies of warriors. As we delve into this world, imagine a small, dimly lit hut, flickering with the warm glow of oil lamps. The Inkmaster, someone held in high regard and sometimes feared for their power to transmute life stories into skin, prepares their tools. Their hands, steady and practiced, move over a warrior's skin with precision. In ancient Japan, these Inkmasters were known as horishi. Their art was known as Ierzumi, and it was steeped in tradition and spiritual symbolism. Horishi used metal needles tied to sticks, applying ink in rhythmic motions known as tebori. Each design, from formidable dragons to serene koi fish, carried deep meanings of protection, courage, and perseverance, threading the spirit of myth into the wearer. Journeying across the seas to the Polynesian islands, tattooing was central to cultural expression. The Inkmaster here, often called tufuga or tohunga tamoko, employed tools meticulously crafted from bone or bamboo. These artists drew ink from nature, using charcoal or even burning the kukui nut to create a rich, black pigment. The process of tattooing, known for its tapping technique, was an elaborate ceremony laden with cultural significance, connecting the individual to their ancestors and deities. In these communities, tattooing was more than a personal choice. It was a rite of passage. The Inkmaster undertook a sacred role, guiding the recipient through the pain, which was believed to forge a stronger connection to their heritage and society. Chanting accompanied the tapping, a rhythmic counterpoint welcoming the ink under the skin. Moving toward the Mediterranean, we encounter another tradition among the Greek and Roman soldiers. Tattooing, though not as ceremonially profound as in Polynesia or Japan, carried its own gravitas. Roman soldiers and gladiators bore marks of loyalty and membership, often inscribed with sharp, heated bronze needles attached to wooden handles, showcasing a technical evolution in design application. Each of these ancient societies valued the Inkmaster, not just for their artistry, but for their role as storytellers and community historians. The act of tattooing wove the recipient into the fabric of their people, each mark a bilingual text of visual art and oral tradition. On the salty winds of the northeastern Celtic lands, the Inkmaster's role similarly threaded artistry with identity. For the Celts, tattoos carried symbols of their legends and kinship ties, rendering the Inkmaster a guardian of personal and mythological history. Iron tools, born from adept metallurgical skills, allowed the creation of swirling designs that mirrored carvings on sacred stones and monuments. With each session, the Inkmaster carved chapters of identity and allegiance on skin, intertwining story and shape. As the sun disappeared beneath the horizon of these ancient worlds, the Inkmaster, with their intimate knowledge of each warrior's journey, merged symbol with skin, crafting a living narrative. From Japan to Polynesia and beyond, the Inkmaster's art reflected a profound understanding of tradition and community, creating a lasting bond that transcended the spoken word. Tonight, as we leave this world of Inkmasters behind, let us carry forward the image of these artisans, masters of their craft, storytellers of old, immortalizing what it meant to be part of their world. As the ink dries, so do the tales they told, setting the stage for the continued evolution of cultural identity inked in flesh. In the silent embrace of ancient soil, the forgotten libraries of ink beckon us to explore them anew. These are not libraries built of stone or timber, but of tattoos, hidden beneath the earth for centuries. As archaeologists unearth artifacts and human remains, they flick back the pages of human history inked on skin. Our journey into these deep chambers of time begins with meticulous excavations that have revealed startling insights into ancient tattoo traditions. In the heartlands of Egypt, the dry sands have long acted as custodians of the past. Archaeological teams, working diligently under the burning sun, gently brush away the sands of time to reveal mummies whose flesh still bears complex tattoo patterns. These mummies, mainly of women, have dots and diamond motifs, echoing the protective symbolism seen in their artistry and mythology. Such discoveries are windows into the past, showing how integral tattoos were to the Egyptians' protective and religious practices. Turning east, the deserts of Nubia yield mummies with similar tattoos, symbols linked to divine entities and fertility gods. Their tattoos whisper stories of shared cultural practices between the Nubians and their Egyptian neighbors. Through the tattoos, we glimpse a rich exchange of ideas and spiritual beliefs between these interconnected societies. Farther across the globe, the lush jungles of Central and South America preserve another chapter of this inked history. From these dense greenery, archaeological digs have preserved evidence of tattoos etched onto prehistoric societies of Mesoamerica. These unearthing efforts have shown that ancient people used natural plant dyes to create vibrant tattoos, capturing the essence of their environment's rich biodiversity. The symbols often depicted animals and celestial bodies, intertwined with cultural stories, indicating their profound connection with nature and the heavens. In scattered Polynesian islands, careful excavations have revealed remnants of tattoo tools made from bones, tools that tell tales of community and craftsmanship. These were discovered near ancient dwellings, where traditional tattoo ceremonies likely bonded communities. Such findings enrich our understanding of how tattooing was interwoven with social and cultural fabric, marking significant passages from childhood to adulthood. Moving through time to Europe, in the Celtic lands, grave sites and bog bodies preserved under cool mists have produced fascinating finds. Iron needles used for tattooing, often found near carved stones bearing similar designs, underscore the integration of tattoos into Celtic life and death. Their tattoos, with intricate patterns, were expressions of kinship and mythological stories, important cultural signatures carried by the stalwart Celtic warriors. As archaeologists uncover these histories inch by inch, tattoos become more than symbols. They are cultural records, preserved legacies of individual and group identity. Through careful excavation, scholars can piece together the diverse stories their tattoos tell, narratives of spiritual beliefs, societal roles, and personal achievements. The painstaking work in archaeological digs bridges the gaps of time, giving voice once more to the warriors who walked before us, their skin layered with the ink of their narratives. Each buried brushstroke recovered by archaeologists refines our understanding of these forgotten libraries. As we close this chapter, we stand on the threshold of deeper revelations. The ink reveals its role not just in personal identity, but in shaping communal bonds that spanned continents and millennia. As we venture deeper into these inked chronicles, we begin to glimpse the societal structures sculpted by this art, leading us inexorably to the next story waiting to be unearthed from beneath the dust of time. As dawn broke over the vast, interconnected world of ancient trade routes, the gentle hum of merchants and travelers embarking on long journeys filled the air. These ancient paths, winding through deserts, over mountains, and across oceans, served not merely as conduits for exchanging goods, but as arteries for the flow of culture, including the fascinating spread of tattoo traditions. In the bustling marketplaces of ancient Mesopotamia, caravans laden with spices, textiles, and precious metals set out, exchanging more than just tangible goods. Among these exchanges were ideas and cultural practices, including tattooing, a tradition that left an indelible mark on the skin of diverse peoples. As goods moved from east to west, tattoo culture traversed regions, blending and evolving with each new environment. The vast Silk Road, an ancient network of trade routes connecting the east to the west, played a pivotal role in this cultural diffusion. Along its dusty roads, traders from China mingled with merchants from Persia, India, and the Roman Empire, swapping goods and stories. Tattoos, initially marking identity among specific groups like the Yue people, began to show variations as they traveled these routes. The symbolic tattoos of Chinese origins met the mythological inspirations from the West, influencing each other in form and meaning. Along the coastal stretches where sea routes thrived, like those used by the Phoenicians, inked sailors aboard trading ships brought their maritime-themed tattoos to new lands. Dolphins, tridents, and other nautical symbols found on sailors' arms became popular motifs as sailors sought to invoke protection from the sea's perils. These tattoos served as protective charms and reminders of the vast oceans they had crossed, made alluring by the salt and tales whispered across ports. In the Indian subcontinent, the influence of these travel routes was equally profound. The cultural exchange along these paths introduced the subcontinent to decorative and spiritual tattoo traditions from its trade partners. In return, henna, a natural paste with its own intricate traditions, spread outward, showcasing how cultural exchange moved in multiple directions. Crossing to Africa, the trans-Saharan trade routes connected the Mediterranean world with sub-Saharan Africa. Arab traders introduced elements of Islamic art and patterns that subtly influenced the tattoo designs of various African tribes. Meanwhile, African facial scarification practices, reflecting social rank or religious belief, also began to interlace with tattoo traditions imported from other lands, creating a unique blend of skin art that narrated stories of ancestral heritage and personal achievement. Further west, in the Americas, indigenous trade networks facilitated the movement of goods and ideas across regions. Mayan and Aztec tattoo practices, characterized by their use of natural dyes and mythological significance, exchanged ideas with other regional cultures. Designs made their way through these trade networks, influencing tattoos across the Americas. Whether along the trails stretching through the vast Mongolian steppes, the bustling Roman roads, or the intricate maritime paths of the Indian Ocean, these transit routes served as cultural bridges. Tattoo traditions, much like the goods they accompanied, found new contexts and adapted to different cultural palettes, ensuring the rich tapestry of tattoo art and its significance shifted and expanded globally. Through these ancient trade routes, tattoos became a testament to the interconnected narrative of humanity, weaving stories of identity, protection, and faith across borders. As we continue to journey along these historic paths, the next chapter unveils deeper historical intersections where tattoos played vital roles in shaping cultural identities and supporting survival in diverse environments. In ancient times, tattoos served as more than personal expressions. They were symbols of resistance, identity, and belonging among warriors in times of war and conflict. As societies faced turmoil, tattoos became a potent form of protest and unification. They were not just inks on skin, but banners under which warriors rallied, marks of defiance against oppressive forces. In the 8th century, the Ainu people of Japan, known for their distinct tattoo practices, used body art to resist assimilation by Japanese rule. The intricate tattoos on their hands and faces, often consisting of circular patterns and lines, were deeply tied to their cultural identity and rites of passage. For the Ainu, tattoos symbolized resistance against cultural erasure, linking past generations to those living under foreign influence. Similarly, in ancient South America, tattoos played a significant role in the lives of indigenous tribes like the Inca and the Mapuche. As these communities faced conquest and control, tattoos became markers of identity and lineage. The Mapuche warriors displayed geometric patterns and animal motifs in their tattoos as emblems of resistance and spiritual strength against Spanish invasion. These tattoos served as silent proclamations of autonomy and a commitment to preserving indigenous heritage. Traveling north, we encounter the Pictish tribes of Scotland, whose body art has fascinated historians. These tribes, existing before and during Roman rule, used tattoos as emblems of cultural defiance and unity. Pictish warriors were known for covering their bodies with intricate swirling designs and symbolic imagery. These tattoos, visible in battle, were meant to invoke fear and suggest an otherworldly connection, differentiating them from Roman legions and affirming their resistance to Roman rule. In the heart of Africa, during conflicts among the various Bantu-speaking groups, tattoos similarly played roles in resistance and identity preservation. Among the Ndembu people, tattoos were employed not just to delineate tribal identity, but as spiritual symbols to guard against harm. During times of conflict, warriors' tattoos were believed to summon ancestral protection, strengthening them as they united against external pressures. In times of crisis, when cultures struggled to preserve their identities, tattoos offered a poignant form of resistance. They stood as testaments to resilience, fortifying individuals and communities under threat. This wasn't just about ink on the body. It was about engraving legacy and defiance against the erasures of conquest. On the other side of the globe, during the era of Chinese dynasties, tattoos became symbols of internal dissent and rebellion. The Yue people of southeastern China, regarded as painted people by the ruling Han Chinese, used tattoos as a form of subtle insurrection, proudly displaying them in defiance of the norms imposed by a central authority that often saw tattoos as marks of barbarism. In many ways, tattoos served as undying reminders of resistance, much like flags hoisted in visual protest. In the Americas, blackwork tattoos of indigenous tribes were not only aesthetic choices, but acts of cultural preservation. As European colonization loomed over the Americas, tattoos became tributes to revered figures and spiritual deities, acts of defiance that inked their narratives into history. In the Pacific regions, the Maori of New Zealand adapted their tattoo practices to reflect experiences of conflict with colonial forces. Ta-Moko, intricate tattoos specific to this culture, were permanently inscribed on the body, preserving genealogical ties and ancestor stories. For the Maori warriors, these tattoos communicated a visual history of resistance against colonial endeavors to alter or erase their cultural footprint. Tattoos unified societies amidst division, reinforcing communal bonds through visual narratives worn with pride. Whether as shields of spirituality, marks of indomitable spirit, or artistic records of struggle, tattoos intricately wove resistance into the cultural tapestry. These ink marks etched into the skin remind us that human identity and unity run deeper than surface-level adornments. As this era faded into history, the indelible marks left by tattoos continued to symbolize a relentless spirit echoing through time, poetry inked as permanent lines of connective struggle and unity. In the realm of anthropology, the exploration of tattooed remains offers a compelling pathway into the lives of ancient warriors. Tattooed mummies have become key to understanding how early societies viewed body modifications, not just for beauty, but for cultural and spiritual significance. As we delve into this fascinating subject, let us first consider the Arctic mummies of Siberia. Discovered buried beneath the permanently frozen ground, these bodies have been preserved remarkably well, allowing scientists to identify tattoos that stretched across their limbs and torsos. Archaeological evidence suggests that such markings were not merely decorative, but likely held significant ritualistic purposes, possibly linked to shamanistic practices. These tattoos, primarily found on the shoulders and arms, depict a variety of animal motifs, boars, deer, and bears, suggesting a devotion to and symbiosis with wildlife. Such ethnographic parallels in tattoo motifs point to practices where the spirit of the animal was believed to be transferred to the bearer, perhaps providing strength or protection. The belief in such potent effigies demonstrates an intricate understanding of the natural world, where tattoos served as a bridge between human, spirit, and animal realms. In Mesoamerica, tattooed remains discovered within the ruins of ancient cities add another layer to our understanding. These remains display sophisticated patterns, perhaps indicative of rank or societal roles. The tattoos, often pigments made from local plants, were carefully applied to skin and reflect a symbolic language that communicated wealth, power, and religious belief. For instance, in the Aztec culture, tattoos might illustrate the bearer's kinship with particular deities, thus securing divine protection and guidance. These markings often corresponded with specific rites of passage, such as initiation rituals, signifying transitions within social hierarchies. Traveling to ancient Egypt, tattoos have been seen among both men and women, notably on priestesses depicted in hieroglyphics and mummies. These tattoos often took on the form of parallel dots or patterns, a motif speculated to offer protection. Some Egyptian tattoos were associated with religious practices. For instance, markings of the goddess Hathor or the protective deities Bes and Taweret. Such tattoos were frequently found around parts of the body considered particularly vulnerable or sacred, suggesting a spiritual dimension aimed at ensuring safety, fertility, or divine connection. Elsewhere in the highlands of northern Africa, specific groups like the Berbers and the Nubians also adopted tattooing as a vital cultural practice, with anthropological ties to social hierarchy, health, and religion. Excavated mummies from these cultures often reveal tattoos that were perhaps administered as part of initiation rites or while seeking healing from ailments, merging therapeutic use with ritualistic significance. Modern techniques, including computed tomography scans, have provided anthropologists with non-invasive methods to study such mummified markings. Through these studies, we gain insights into their lifestyle, beliefs, and the practical application of tattoos in health, such as possible acupuncture points intertwined with tattoo locations, offering evidence of early medicinal practices. Through careful examination of tattooed remains, anthropologists can piece together not just individual stories, but broader insights into the cultural narratives of ancient societies. The symbolic language of tattoos has transcended mere aesthetic appeal, providing us with a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of spirituality, identity, and social structures. As we peel back the layers of time through the lens of these ancient scripts on the skin, we come to appreciate the anthropological importance of tattoos as tools of communication and preservation. Their presence on ancient remains highlights the complex interplay of body art with tradition, belief, and hierarchical structures. The journey continues beyond the physical use of tattoos in ancient societies, guiding us to explore how these practices evolved, continuing to influence modern cultural and societal landscapes. With every unearthed detail, the ceaseless dialogue between the past and present becomes clearer, offering us pathways into the lives of those long gone, yet still vividly embodied through the language of ink. As centuries wound down and new horizons beckoned, the tattooed warriors, once proud bearers of ink, found themselves facing a changed world. These tattoos, once emblems of valor and belonging, began to face the scrutiny of new societal norms and political change. During the late medieval period, Europe's landscape underwent significant transformation. The rise of kingdoms, the spread of organized religions, and increased political control altered the perception of tattoos. Tattoos, often linked to paganism or viewed as a mark of outcasts, gradually led to the decline in their prevalence amongst traditional warrior societies. The growing influence of Christianity in Europe saw bishops and rulers condemning tattooing as barbaric, an affront to the established religious norms which preached bodily purity. This shift meant that tattoos, previously recognized as symbols of identity and strength, began to disappear under religious reforms seeking to unify cultural practices under a less visibly diverse umbrella. Similarly, in regions such as China, the consolidation of imperial power saw a move towards a homogenized culture. Tattoos, which had distinguished warrior classes like the Yue from the Han Chinese majority, became less common. The Han dynasty pursued policies of assimilating or suppressing minority traditions, including tattooing, which was increasingly associated with crime or lower social status. As centralized states took hold, tattooed warriors became relics of a bygone era, their once proud ink seen as rebellious, even criminal. In Japan, where the intricate Irezumi held both spiritual and cultural significance, a gradual change took hold during the Edo period. As the samurai class evolved and urbanization spread, tattoos became associated less with warrior cultural heritage and more with the emerging subculture of the townsfolk. By the Tokugawa era, tattoos found resurgence among laborers and entertainers, but this shift neglected the warrior's tradition, branding ink as the mark of nonconformity. Meanwhile, in Australia and Polynesia, the scales tipped similarly due to colonial impacts. Indigenous ink traditions faced challenges from the arrival of Europeans, who viewed these tattoos with a mixture of fascination and disdain, often dismissing them as evidence of savagery. The British colonization of Australia, coupled with missionary efforts in the Pacific Islands, sought to eradicate tattoo practices as part of wider cultural assimilation policies. As colonial expansion reshaped the world, tattoos transformed yet again from symbols of resilience and identity into marks of imprisonment and exoticism. Early maritime expeditions and colonists encountered tattooed cultures, sometimes adopting tattoos as novel trophies or signs of adventure. But in other instances, they imposed new cultural standards that erased indigenous practices, further delineating the cultural tattoo as an emblem of the other. This disappearance of warrior tattoos speaks volumes about shifting existential priorities. The fundamental nature of identity, by then, transitioned to align more closely with geopolitical and economic frameworks rather than tribal or clan affiliations. While practices faded and adapted under the pressure of changing governance and expanding empires, the essence remained tucked away, preserved in small communities or driven underground, wading through decades of change. In the echoes of ink lie silent stories of a world that once was, attending to tales intoned in marks that signaled more than status. They were declarations of eternal allegiances to a people, a time, and a spirit. They were the language of skin that whispered or roared resistance against the divide of time and conquest. As these warriors faded into the pages of history, their silent ink left legacies, the ink library of the body, enduring even in decline. With the ink of the past receding, the next chapter awaits, ready to reveal how these practices would find light again and contribute to modern society, forever proving that while warrior tattoos may have faded, their cultural pulse persisted, unbroken even into the new eras that followed. As we turn our focus to the present day, we find ourselves in an era where modern technology unveils secrets of the past, allowing us to interpret ancient tattoos with newfound clarity and understanding. These age-old symbols on the skin, once enigmatic marks, are now being decoded by scholars and scientists, revealing the narratives and functions they served for their wearers. Today's researchers use technologies such as infrared imaging, computer-generated reconstructions, and laser scanning to study ancient tattooed mummies and artifacts in ways previously impossible. Infrared technology, for instance, allows us to visualize details of tattoos faded by time, making indistinct patterns sharp once more. This non-invasive approach respects these ancient remains while offering us a clearer lens through which to view their stories. Through modern interpretation, we have learned that the locations and patterns of tattoos were often more than mere adornment. They were carefully chosen insights into personal beliefs, status, and health. For example, the tattoos on Egyptian mummies, which scholars once thought were merely decorative, are now understood to have likely served protective or ritualistic purposes, intricately tied to their mythology and daily life. Scholars analyzing tattoos on Siberian mummies have unraveled links to shamanistic practices, with tattoos depicting animals like deer and fish. These designs weren't just for strength, they were spiritual emblems believed to endow wearers with the attributes of these creatures. Additionally, by applying digital technology, researchers have reconstructed what these tattoos might have originally looked like when they flourished on living skin. This methodology has revealed complex layers of meaning, as with the tattooed remains from Papua New Guinea, where digital enhancements have restored symbols of clan affiliation and personal achievements. One fascinating discovery in recent years involves using isotope analyses. Scientists can now study the ink composition itself. This method has revealed geographical information about where the materials were sourced, deepening our understanding of trade and resource movement among ancient cultures. Some inks contain mineral pigments unique to specific regions, providing crucial clues about the origins and movements of the people adorned by them. The interpretation of tattoos crosses a spectrum from anthropology to sociology. Take the case of the detailed Maori Ta Moko tattoos, known for their lineage-based design. Modern-day scholars use these designs not just to understand historical identity, but also as a dialogue with present-day collectors of heritage and ancestry, reclaiming cultural narratives that had been long suppressed or altered through colonization. Academics and cultural custodians collaborate today more than ever, just to ensure the narratives these tattoos represent remain locally and globally recognized. These efforts include revitalizing interest among young Maori and other indigenous populations globally to celebrate their heritage through contemporary practices inspired by traditional forms. What modern interpretations truly reflect is a bridge between past interpretations and the present understanding of cultural identity. Tattoos are revisited anew, not only as artifacts from ancient societies, but as living, breathing connections to cultural legacies that resonate in today's global society. As modern tools and interdisciplinary approaches bring to light these intricate skinscapes, we must acknowledge their ongoing impact and relevance. They charted ways for ancient societies to navigate their worlds, and they continue to inform how we see and connect to ours. These marks tell stories that urge both the recall of history and the forward momentum of cultural survival, transformation, and acknowledgement. With each accompanying grain of knowledge we uncover, our journey into the legacy of these tattooed warriors becomes richer, painting vivid stories that continue to inspire our collective human tapestry. Soft beams of sunlight cast a gentle glow over a hushed museum hall, where glass cases stand like portals to the past. Inside are fragments of history that bind us to the lives of ancient warriors, lives inscribed not on parchment or stone, but etched into human skin itself. Visitors, moving slowly through the exhibition, gaze upon these scraps of preserved skin, each bearing tattoos, a faded roadmap of stories and beliefs now brought into the light of modern inquiry. Modern curations of tattooed skin and artifacts open windows into worlds long gone, offering a tangible connection to ancient cultures. Museums around the globe house these precious relics, allowing us to glimpse the past through intricate patterns and faded lines, providing insights into the lives and identities of those who bore the inked marks. In places like the British Museum and the Smithsonian, these preserved skins reveal their secrets to curious eyes and scholarly minds alike, bridging thousands of years with a single gaze. In crafting exhibitions, curators work meticulously to present these relics within a context that honors their origins. Their efforts involve not merely displaying artifacts, but weaving arcane narratives from history's whispered hues. Rooms dedicated to ancient tattoos are often filled with interactive displays and digital enhancements, helping visitors visualize the stories behind the designs. A dragon perhaps once etched on the forearm of a Japanese samurai, or crescent moons adorning an Egyptian priestess's spine. Digital reconstructions bring these tattoos back to life, allowing scholars and visitors to witness the original vibrancy of inks, their colors precisely mapped using cutting-edge technology. Interactive screens deliver detailed explanations of each cultural story, enhancing understanding of how these tattoos served as signifiers of status, protection, spiritual beliefs, or connections to mythology. Museums embody the cultural standard-bearers of today, placing tattooed relics within broader discussions on identity and human expression. Through curated storytelling, these exhibitions emphasize not just the artistic style of tattoos, but their communicative power across civilizations, from Mesoamerican warriors with celestial motifs to Polynesian chiefs adorned in tribal lineage patterns. Another dimension explored within modern curations is how tattoo traditions shaped historical narratives amid social structures and cultural exchanges. For example, through thoughtful curation of elements in an exhibition, viewers may learn about the socio-economic impacts of tattooing among ancient Celtic tribes or the spiritual significance held by tattooed Inuit symbols revolving around shamanistic headdresses. The preserved skins have become educational tools, helping visitors appreciate the ingenuity and resourcefulness of ancient Inkmasters. Detailed charts display tattooing techniques across cultures, offering hands-on opportunities for deeper engagement through workshops or virtual demonstrations, simulating the techniques used by master artisans. Here, visitors can experience the rhythm of Polynesian tapping techniques or the precision of Japanese tebori firsthand. From New York to New Zealand, these artifacts and exhibitions foster dialogue between past and present, linking ancient practices to today's cultural identity and societal values. They underscore the relevance and resilience of tattoo culture, teaching us that these ink traditions were as varied and intricate as the societies they emerged from, mirrors to our humanity etched into the very bodies of our ancestors. In the serene silence of the museum hall, illuminated by the dim glow of history, each artifact whispers stories that once pulsed beneath cool skin. Museums and curations hold these secrets tenderly, inviting visitors to step close, look deeply, and listen for tales that transcend time, expressions not only of ancient identities, but of an enduring human connection to art, meaning, and community. With each piece of tattooed skin, we are reminded of a world that painted history not on paper or canvas, but through the living, breathing tapestry of skin itself. In the quiet corners of history, ancient tattoos leave us with a sense of melancholy beauty, a gentle reminder of the personal and cultural journeys they represent. Over time, while tools and techniques have largely remained the same, the meanings and stories behind these tattoos have woven a rich tapestry of human experience and expression. Ancient tattoos, etched into skin with intention and purpose, symbolize deeply rooted connections to identity, culture, and spirituality. For many of the world's ancient societies, tattoos weren't just about aesthetics but were profound expressions of individual and collective identity. As we've seen, these tattoos served as powerful symbols and records of the wearer's social status, religious beliefs, achievements, and life events. From the revered samurai in Japan with their mythical creatures to the Polynesian chiefs whose tattoo spoke of lineage and honor, these marks conveyed stories told through generations. In ancient Japan, the intricate designs associated with the samurai weren't just beautiful. They were believed to embody the virtues of strength and protection, mirroring the blend of myth and reality in their culture. Similarly, the Polynesian tattoo held immense significance, with each pattern representing personal achievements and societal contributions. These tattoos illustrated an individual's place within a broader cultural hierarchy, their lines and shapes recounting stories of ancestors, feats, and the gods. The tattoos of the Celts, marked by intricate spirals and knots, illustrated narratives from their mythologies and emphasized kinship bonds. While the broader society connected through spoken poetry and stories passed down orally, these tattoos forged a permanent, visual testament to their cultural heritage and personal identity. Beyond their symbolism, ancient tattoos invite reflection on the universal human experiences of identity, belonging, and mortality. They speak to the melancholic beauty of existence, the weaving together of life's joys and sorrows into visible symbols on the skin. Just as art in any form often evokes a sense of longing or nostalgia, tattoos are both marks of personal history and emblems of cultural continuity. Today, the legacy of ancient tattoos is both quietly enduring and resurgent in its significance. Tattoos continue to express personal narratives, bridging ancient practices with modern identity. Contemporary societies have revitalized traditional designs, not as mere art, but as powerful connections to heritage, resisting the passage of time and transformation of cultural practices. In this gentle rediscovery of ancient tattoos, we are reminded of their enduring legacy. These inked signs, etched by ancient hands, reveal the deep connection between past and present. They are echoes of times when the human experience was inscribed upon the skin in vivid lines, visible expressions of our shared human journey. As we close this chapter of the hidden libraries of ancient tattooed warriors, we carry with us the understanding that tattoos, past and present, tell stories that resonate deeply across generations and cultures. They remind us of our place in the vast expanse of history, where every line, every symbol, marks the silent dialogue between humanity and the passage of time itself.